Last night, Jack Curry shared on Hot Stove that he believes the Yankees are more likely to acquire starting pitching through a trade. I want to get into some of those names that the Yankees could trade for. Start with Freddy Peralta because there were rumors there. 1 year left on his contract. Obviously a phenomenal pitcher on the Brewers, coming off a season with a 2.7 ERA. Great metrics, and he's only making $8 million this year. So yes, he is a rental. That does bring down his price, but I think it begs the question, how far would the Yankees be willing to go for a rental? The reason why I do think this could work and why I think it kind of makes sense is because you're not necessarily locking yourself into anything long-term, especially when you already have a lot of your starting pitching staff locked in. And next offseason is next offseason talk, but you can't ignore the fact that Tariq Skubal is going to be a free agent. And I think I'm with a lot of Yankee fans when we say the Yankees should go heavy and really prioritize him next offseason. So, a move like Freddy Peralta, it's not taking you out of that because it is 1 year. I just don't know where the price necessarily lines for that. And I think if it's a Freddy Peralta, with how good the Brewers were this past season, it's probably going to be one of those challenge trades that Brian Cashman talked about. So I wonder if this is where we could see, sort of a Jazz swap, maybe a Dominguez or something of that sort. Because do the Brewers really want, Double-A pitchers or position players? No, they're trying to win now. But they do have a surplus of pitching. I think that's why Freddy Peralta's name has come up. And it would make sense for the Yankees. The next guy, Sandy Alcántara of the Miami Marlins. There was talk about him at the trade deadline this past season, and it actually wouldn't have been the worst thing if they ended up doing it, because I think he finished the season pretty strong after just a horrendous start. Did have Tommy John in 2024, so this was kind of his rebound year, and obviously not to his standard. I mean, a 5.36 ERA, not great. And I think if you're acquiring him, it's more of like a project in a sense, or trying to get him back on track. He has 2 years left, so 2026, and then a club option in 2027, where he's making $17 million this year, and then if you pick up the club option, $20 million next season. So you do kind of have flexibility there too, where you're not necessarily locked in. It's only a $2 million buyout. So you could kind of, if the price isn't that high, you could take a gamble. Maybe he turns into that Cy Young self that he used to be. And if he doesn't, it's not like it's the worst thing in the world, because you take the buyout, so you only have 1 year of him. I also think, and this is kind of going out on a limb, but I wouldn't totally rule it out. Anytime you have a guy that has velo, throws hard, bullpen is always an option. And I know kind of his thing is that he throws a lot of innings and he's just a beast. But if he came over to the Yankees and he is still struggling as a starter, why not try it out, right? So I think the Yankees would have a lot of flexibility there. And to be honest, I don't think his price is going to be that high, just because he's making a solid chunk of money. He's coming off a not-so-great season. So I think, the only way this would really just reach a full stop is if the Marlins were acting like he's his 2022 self, which he could be, but you also have to be realistic. He's not that right now. We also know the Yankees and Marlins just like trading. They like doing business with each other. So I would keep an eye on that. And then the last one was MacKenzie Gore. This one pissed me off a little bit, just because I don't get it. You don't need another lefty starting pitcher. He's not really that good. He's a free agent in 2028, so he's 3 years left to control. The Nationals definitely still value this guy, and they're not just going to give him away, right? So yes, well, I don't think we would have to give up multiple top prospects for this guy. I just don't really see necessarily that much of a role other than kind of eating innings. The only way this makes sense to me is if they were planning on moving him to the bullpen, in which case I would say yes, because to be honest, we need more lefties in the bullpen. But if not, I don't really get it.